The 1967 Arab-Israeli War, often referred to as the Six-Day War, was a pivotal conflict between Israel and the neighboring states of Egypt, Jordan, and Syria. This short but intense military confrontation lasted from June 5th to June 10th, 1967, and reshaped the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. Initiated by rising tensions and preemptive strikes by Israel against Egypt, the war quickly expanded to include attacks on Jordan and Syria. Within just 6 days, Israel decisively defeated the Arab coalition and seized control of significant territories, including the Gaza Strip, the Sinai Peninsula, the West Bank, and the Golan Heights. These territorial gains significantly altered the map of the region and laid the groundwork for future conflicts and peace processes. The significance of the Six-Day War cannot be overstated. It fundamentally shifted the balance of power in the Middle East, elevating Israel as a formidable regional power and deepening Arab hostilities. The swift Israeli victory instilled a sense of national pride, but also intensified the Arab world's resolve to challenge Israeli dominance, setting the stage for ongoing disputes and attempts at negotiation that have continued for decades. One real-world example of the war's impact is the ongoing Israeli control over the West Bank, a source of constant contention and a flashpoint for Israeli-Palestinian tensions. Additionally, the Golan Heights, seized from Syria, remains a strategically crucial high-ground region, contributing to Israel's military advantage and security concerns in potential conflicts with Syria. Opinions regarding the war's justifications and consequences vary widely. Some argue that Israel's preemptive strike was a necessary defensive measure against an imminent threat, while critics contend that the land seizures and subsequent occupation violated international norms. This divergence of views illustrates the broader debate about the legitimacy and repercussions of territorial expansion through military means. The war remains a topic of significant controversy, with critics highlighting the humanitarian impact of occupation and advocates emphasizing the existential threats Israel faced at the time. The Arab world largely views the war as a catastrophic defeat, while Israel sees it as a moment of triumph and survival. In essence, the 1967 Arab-Israeli War is intertwined with nearly every aspect of Middle Eastern geopolitics and continues to influence diplomatic relations, defense policies, and peace efforts. As a catalyst for change, it underscores the complexities of territorial disputes, national security, and the quest for lasting peace in a region long fraught with conflict. One of the critical elements of the 1967 Arab-Israeli War, often noted as 6 days that changed the Middle East, is the concept of preemptive strikes. A preemptive strike is a military strategy where a state launches an attack based on the belief that an enemy is planning an imminent assault. In the context of the 1967 war, Israel executed a preemptive strike against Egypt, believing that a coordinated Arab attack was imminent. This action largely contributed to Israel's swift and decisive victory, radically altering the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. The significance of preemptive strikes in this war cannot be overstated. For Israel, facing existential threats from neighboring countries, the success of their preemptive strategy not only secured their national survival, but also reshaped borders and power dynamics in the region. It demonstrated the tactical advantage and strategic impact such strikes could have, especially in regions marred by long-standing tensions and fragile alliances. Two specific instances illustrate the impact of this strategy. Firstly, Israel's surprise air assault on June 5, 1967, decimated the Egyptian Air Force, gaining aerial superiority that was pivotal for their ground operations. Secondly, this strategy set a precedent for future military doctrines not only in Israel but globally, influencing military tactics and justifications for anticipatory self-defense. Opinions generally supporting this action argue that Israel's preemptive strike was a necessary evil to protect itself from the ominous and mounting threats posed by surrounding Arab nations. In contrast, critics often point out that such strikes can escalate conflicts and justify aggression under the guise of defense, potentially fostering cycles of retaliatory violence. Challenges and controversies also arise, particularly concerning international law, which generally favors defensive actions over anticipatory ones due to the potential for abuse. Critics argue this approach can lead to wars under false pretenses, with long-term geopolitical consequences. For instance, preemptive strikes can undermine diplomatic resolutions and breed hostility, as seen in continued friction between Israel and its neighbors. Connecting this to the broader context of the 1967 war, the preemptive strike strategy directly influenced other aspects, such as territorial gains. Israel's swift victory allowed for the capture of the Gaza Strip, the Sinai Peninsula, the West Bank, and the Golan Heights territories that remain central to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and broader Middle East tensions today. As a catalyst for these territorial changes, the preemptive strike not only shaped the immediate military outcome, but also had enduring implications for regional diplomacy and conflict. The origins and causes of the 1967 Arab-Israeli War, often referred to as the Six-Day War, are deeply rooted in a complex tapestry of historical, political, and territorial tensions. At its core, the conflict was driven by long-standing disputes over territory and the right to self-determination, simmering animosity between the nascent state of Israel and its Arab neighbors, and the broader geopolitical dynamics of the Cold War. The significance of understanding the origins and causes of this war is crucial in comprehending how such entrenched rivalries could ignite rapid and transformative military conflict. The war, lasting a mere 6 days, not only redrew the map of the Middle East, but also set the stage for subsequent conflicts and ongoing tensions that persist to this day. One specific example illustrating these origins is the issue of territorial fragmentation. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War, which followed the establishment of Israel, resulted in the division and occupation of Palestinian land, leaving a climate of resentment among Arab nations. This division fostered an environment ripe for conflict, as Arab states sought ways to reverse what they considered an unjust status quo. Another example is the nationalistic fervor and strategic gamesmanship of the Cold War era, during which Soviet and American influence intensified regional hostilities. In particular, Soviet support for Arab countries and American backing of Israel exemplified the global stakes tied to the local conflict. Opinions supporting this understanding highlight Israel's pressing need for recognized borders and security assurances, alongside Arab nations' desires for territorial restitution and Palestinian rights. Some analysts argue that the military buildup in the region and rising nationalism made war almost inevitable, while others point to missed diplomatic opportunities that could have averted war altogether. Several controversies surround these interpretations, particularly regarding blame and responsibility. Some argue that Israel's preemptive strike was a necessary defensive measure, while others claim it was an aggressive expansionist move. Arab perspectives often focus on the role of colonial legacies and foreign interference in exacerbating tensions, presenting an alternative view on culpability. This exploration of origins and causes is intricately connected to the broader dynamics of the Middle East. It influences ongoing debates about peace processes, the quest for Palestinian statehood, and Israel's security. Understanding these foundational elements provides critical insights into subsequent Arab-Israeli conflicts and the persistent instability of the region. The heading 6 Days That Changed the Middle East The 1967 Arab-Israeli War refers to a brief yet pivotal conflict that had far-reaching implications for the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. The 1967 Arab-Israeli War, commonly known as the Six-Day War, was a battle fought between Israel and the neighboring states of Egypt, Jordan, and Syria. This war, occurring from June 5th to June 10th, 1967, resulted in a swift and decisive Israeli victory, during which Israel captured significant territories including the Sinai Peninsula, the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and the Golan Heights. These territories remain central to ongoing conflicts and discussions regarding peace and statehood in the region. The Six-Day War significantly altered the political and territorial dynamics of the Middle East. One major significance is that it accelerated tensions between Israel and its Arab neighbors, leading to ongoing conflicts and peace processes that endure today. The war also fundamentally shifted the power dynamics in the region, solidifying Israel's military strength, while also fostering a sense of vulnerability among the Arab states. For example, the capture of the Sinai Peninsula from Egypt and the Golan Heights from Syria not only altered national boundaries, but also had enduring strategic and security implications. The Sinai was later a focal point in peace negotiations, eventually being returned to Egypt as part of the 1979 Israel-Egypt Peace Treaty. Another example is the occupation of the West Bank and East Jerusalem, territories with significant Palestinian populations, which has fueled decades of Israeli-Palestinian conflict and remains a core issue in peace talks. Opinions supporting Israel's actions often cite the nation's right to self-defense and the preemptive nature of the strikes, as Israel responded to perceived imminent threats from its neighbors. However, these actions are not without controversy. Critics argue that the occupation of territories and the subsequent settlement activities contravene international law, particularly the Fourth Geneva Convention. Challenges and controversies surrounding the Six-Day War extend to international diplomacy and differing narratives about territorial rights and historical claims. The differing perspectives on the legitimacy and consequences of the territorial changes have prompted extensive debate and disagreements both within the region and globally. The outcomes of the Six-Day War continue to influence Middle Eastern politics, directly affecting peace processes and discussions about a two-state solution between Israelis and Palestinians. This war is not only a testament to the rapidly changing nature of geopolitical conflicts, but also a poignant reminder of the enduring quest for stability and peace in the Middle East.